I decided to make a video game, and this is how it went.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Well, to answer that, we need to start 6 months ago. You see that guy down there who thinks he's pretty cool wakeboarding about? That's me. I used to make and do a lot of things. I've never been one just to sit still, but that's never been a bad thing. Until...
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus. The coronavirus.
That the coronavirus...
Ah yes, the famous coronavirus. The thing that has kept us inside for days and days and days. At the start of this lockdown, I was so bored inside my room. I was feeling pretty sorry for myself, to be honest. But I realized that lockdown didn't have to be a bad thing, so I decided to give myself a challenge. I've always wanted to make a video game, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a video game, or at least try to. So here we are, day one. I started off by drawing down some of my ideas. This is a lot of just ideation and things I had been thinking about when it came to my game. You know, I thought it best just to get all my ideas down on paper. I settled on making an infinite runner for iPhone. Have you ever noticed that the world seems to get weirder and weirder the more you grow up? Half the things that have happened this month I never thought could happen. I want my game to mimic this reality. I want to show this world getting crazier and crazier by the moment, visually. I knew in order to do this, I had to get organized. So I've dedicated this space in my room to be kind of like a mission control. So step one is to pin up some boards. The first one is a board where I can put all of my inspiration and you guys can see it too. A fundamental part of a project like this is staying organized, so that's why I'm putting up these boards. I thought this would be a great way to keep track of the project visually, so I could look back at the end of the project and see how far we've come. I've done a lot of research on games, how to create them and make them, and I feel like I have the necessary tools to create something. You see here, this is a Kanban board, and this is a great way to keep track of any tasks that need doing in the game. You can see me here writing some up. So the first thing I'm going to work on is the main character. I'm going to work on the design and the movement, so we move those tasks from the backlog into working, and I'll explain how that kind of process will look, how to design a character. First off, I'm going to gather some references. These are going to help me base my design off something. It's really hard to come up with concepts off the top of your head. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch from those concepts. Hopefully I can come up with like a fun character. The next thing I'm going to do after that is convert those concepts into pixel art, the style of the game that I'm making. And then after that, I'm going to animate. So yeah, so that's the kind of way it goes. You references first, sketch concepts next, and then convert them to sprites and then animate. So wish me luck. Now I'm going to draw something based off this reference or whatever this is that I'm wearing. So let's get to it. Somewhere along the way I thought it would be a good idea to base the game off of myself and my life. Thinking back, it was probably a bit self-absorbed, but I figure if you're going to make a video game, you may as well put yourself in it and make yourself the main character, because I haven't gotten a lot of other offers lately to be in other video games. Here I basically just tried to draw myself in some different styles, and you can see I tried a bunch of different things, and some things worked and other things didn't, but that's kind of the main idea of these rough sketches that I was making. So here we are finally on the computer. I thought it would be good just to have a bit more reference for my pixel art. I included some characters and some art styles that I liked, and I also referenced them all on this drawing. These are all like really amazing artists and games that I referenced. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to lining things up and making sure it's all square, and I wanted it to look nice. You know, I've also got myself in there a couple times. Maybe eventually I'll do a couple different versions of the main character. Maybe you could buy some skins or different modifications. So now that's done, let's move on to pixel art. Here we go, finally starting on the game. Probably been the longest video without seeing any actual pixel art or game creation you've ever seen. This first attempt did not go well. I had no idea what I was doing. I was trying to follow a tutorial online about how to create a character, and it was just not working as well as I thought it was going to. But when something doesn't work out the first time, you can always try again, and that's what I did. I decided to try again, restart. So boom. I think this was probably my third attempt or fourth attempt trying to draw the character, and this one went a lot better. I was a lot happier with the style of the character. I first started by drawing him standing still, and I started adding color. I figured out the palette that I wanted pretty early on in the project. You know, I was trying to copy myself as much as possible, and I think I did a pretty good job with, you know, recreating my clothing and my headband. I never designed a character with a black outline before, but I thought when I eventually get around to doing a background, this will help the main character stick out. You have to make sure that there's enough contrast between the player and the background, so hopefully this helps with that. And there you have it, the final design. I think it turned out pretty good, and there's the main character for my video game, all done and dusted. Now the next thing to do is move that task over, and now I gotta work on doing this run animation. I'm realizing as I'm recording this how awkward it is to record. I don't know how other people do it. I'm actually really nervous, and it's really difficult to say what I want to say. Now starting this, I had no idea how hard making a run animation was gonna be. I think this first frame took me about 3 hours to make. I got so unmotivated at one point. I think I went for like 3 weeks without touching this project. But that's okay, you know, it happens. When you're in lockdown, your mind does some funny things sometimes, and it's okay not to be on the ball 100% of the time. So I kind of gave myself a break. I'm human, and these things happen. The important thing is that you get back on the horse and you keep working towards the goal that you want to achieve. It's taken so long that it probably deserves one of these.
One eternity later.
And I'm gonna skip to the end here where I show you the final animation. It turned out really, really good, and I'm super happy with the bouncing of the hair. And if you're thinking about trying something new, I'd definitely give it a go. The final result, you know, far exceeded my expectations, and I'm really happy that I stuck with it and kept going. And with that, I can move the other task to done. Thanks for watching. Check out part 2.